Let's get one thing straight. Auditions suck. Like, actually the worst. I've taken over 20 auditions for full-time orchestra jobs, and I want to share with you what finally worked for me and how I finally got my first full-time orchestra job. We'll dive into some of the obvious things like practice organization and mock auditions, but also into some of the things that I wish somebody told me about years ago, like strategies for mitigating nerves, specific strategies for structuring your preparation, and even what you can do on the day of the audition to set yourself up to play your very best. Preparing for an audition is kind of like a paint job. The end product is only as good as the preparation. Also bear in mind that this doesn't have to just be for orchestra auditions. Maybe if you're auditioning for All-State or taking college auditions, for example, I think a lot of this information is going to be really helpful to you. This video is part 1 in a multi-part series, so be sure to get subscribed so you don't miss the rest. Let's walk it all the way back to the beginning. You just found out about an audition you want to take for, let's say, Orchestra X. You go to their website, you find the repertoire list, you send your deposit check, and now it's time to start practicing. Time to go get your instrument out, tune up, and start shedding, right? Well, personally, I don't think so. What I think needs to happen first is a phase of organization that will help you structure your practice, as well as give yourself a resource that will be incredibly helpful in every phase of preparation. Musicians in 2023 have a ridiculous advantage that people 20 plus years ago would be foaming at the mouth over. I'm talking, of course, about streaming music platforms. Whether it's Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, Naxos, or even YouTube, there's literally thousands of recordings available right at your fingertips. So I like to take my time at the beginning and create what let's call a research document. In this document, I take one excerpt at a time and listen to at least 5 different recordings of well-established orchestras. What this does is not only give me really strong information about tempo, about character, style, standard performance practices, but it also lets me see what the range of tempos is across multiple orchestras. What I like to do is find the tempos of these 5 orchestras and create an average across all 5. Now, will this be the exact tempo that I'm going to want to play for my audition? Not necessarily, but what it does is provide great context for what will ultimately be my tempo, and as a result, I'll have a lot of conviction that it's correct. Be sure to add timestamps in your document so you can easily reference the specific excerpt later. Typically, I will also choose 1 to 2 recordings that closely resemble the presentation I want to give and organize those into a playlist. Take the time to carefully listen to each piece and come up with up to 3 prompts that you might use to describe that music. For example, on the Shostakovich 5 excerpt, a friend helped me come up with one single word prompt. I don't know what it is, but something about that one word significantly improved my approach to the music. And like you just saw, it doesn't even have to be a musical prompt, just something that helps you present the music exactly the way you want to. Another resource that you can use for finding recordings is a website called orchestraexcerpts.com, which will queue up 3 different recordings to the exact timestamp of the excerpt you're looking at. While I agree this is extremely convenient, I would encourage everyone to dig deeper and discover other recordings on their own. Okay, time to get organized. If you haven't done so already, print out a copy of the excerpts. Oftentimes the orchestra you're auditioning for will provide a set of parts for you, and in this case I almost always print out the set that they give me, since that's pretty much 100% guaranteed to be the set of parts that the committee's going to be looking at anyway. That way you don't have to do any guesswork for what edition the committee might be looking at. Now, if the orchestra does not provide a set of excerpts, source the best possible editions that you can find. Again, orchestraexcerpts.com does have a PDF available for purchase for just about every instrument, which is going to include most of the commonly asked excerpts. These are fine as a starting point, but be sure to pay special attention when you're listening to recordings just to verify if there's any inconsistencies to look into. And if you're ever unsure about what the committee is looking for, it's totally fine to email the audition coordinator and they can pass your question on to the committee. Hang on, wait a minute, pause. Remember when I said print a copy of the excerpts? I lied. Print 3 copies. 1 copy is for you, and the other 2 are going to be for your mock audition committee members later. Trust me when I say that your feedback for mock auditions will be orders of magnitude better. if people listening have an organized, easily navigable set of parts to look at. Once you have your 3 sets of music, 3-hole punch them and put them into 3 separate binders. I like to account for some excerpts that are multiple pages, for example, and make sure that they're printed in such a way that there isn't a page turn right in the middle. Not only is this annoying for you, but it's also annoying for the people that are listening to you. This next step is a trick that I actually stole from a friend of mine. In your binder, I want you to go through and add 2 sticky notes to each excerpt, either in the margins or on the back side, honestly, wherever is convenient. The first sticky note is going to be how you keep track of your tempo progress over time, and the second sticky note is going to be how to keep track of your discoveries. More on that later. Now, this last bit of organization is something I learned from Rob Knopper's Audition Hacker Academy. Basically, what you're going to do is you're going to lay out each day from now until the audition. You can do this in something like a Google Calendar if that's helpful for you, but I honestly just do it as a fresh Word document or Google Docs document. Then next to each day, you're going to put down how much time you realistically have to practice for the audition that day. Some days it might be 0, you got to go to work. Some days it might only be an hour because you've got class. And other days it might be 6 hours, like a free day. The goal is to quantify the amount of time that you actually have to practice and then plan that practice accordingly. This plan is centered around what Rob calls the 3 phases of practice: the learning phase, the self-recording phase, and the mock audition phase. The self-recording phase can happen at any time during the learning phase, and the mock auditions can happen at any time during the self-recording phase. It's okay if that overall plan changes over time, but structuring your prep in this way is an incredibly powerful way to contextualize the best ways for you to use your time every day from now until the audition. How long you have until that audition date might dictate how long each of these phases is going to take, but I try to plan for an equal amount of time in each phase. Anyway, so that's going to do it for part 1 in this video series. Did I miss anything that you found helpful in your organization? Let me know down in the comments. If you've made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, consider leaving this video a like and getting subscribed to the channel. Subscribing is completely free and you can always change your mind later. And with that, I hope you guys are having a great day today and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. See ya.